we've got this crazy idea, we don't know if it'll work, I don't know if it's possible at all, but could you find a way to do this? So similar kind of stuff, but just in like a totally different space, you know?
Yep. It's funny that you're kind of doing that here now too.
Yeah, so again, so now it's like, hey, like, there's this AI thing, we don't really know how we could use it best, and like it's so new, and like no one has the answers, but give that a go. It suits really well. So.
So, hey Baz, thanks for joining. This is like our first shorthanding chat.
Yeah, thank you.
So welcome. The idea of this series is kind of just to get some insight into the people who are working at Shorthand, really. Like, what were you doing before you joined Shorthand? What did you love about your previous place of work, and what were you really good at there, and so on? What were you doing before Shorthand, Baz?
Right. So I kind of had two careers, I guess, before Shorthand. So my first one, I did 15 years doing like video game development, and then I moved across to web development and did 7 years there doing web development for print publishing. So like anything that made it easier to make like books and magazine articles, scientific stuff, pamphlets, things like that. So those were the two kind of careers that I had. So with the first bit of it, the game side of things, so I did stuff working on like heaps of different hardware over the years, like Game Boy, all the way through to like Xbox and then iPhone and things like that. Like I was there for like a quite interesting time of game development, right? And I think I got really good at prototyping ideas really quickly and working with really new things that no one knew how to use, like new hardware. Like I constantly got new hardware dropped on my desk, or new software, or new stuff that people didn't know how to do something with. And it's like, do something cool with this. So that was really exciting. And then when I went into web development, I was doing a similar thing. I was on the R&D team there, where it was, we've got this crazy idea, we don't know if it'll work, I don't know if it's possible at all, but could you find a way to do this? So similar kind of stuff, but just in like a totally different space.
Yep. It's funny that you're kind of doing that here now too.
Yeah, so again, so now it's like, hey, like, there's this AI thing, we don't really know how we could use it best, and like it's so new, and like no one has the answers, but give that a go. It suits really well.
No, it's been a heap of fun seeing where you've taken that work since we first spun it up. It's come a long way. Seems like you're having fun with it.
Yeah, it's like 100% my wheelhouse. Like it's the right kind of stuff, and it's the right kind of work that like there's so many different ways to tackle the problem that it's really interesting.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's something that excites me.
Well, so one of the things that we do at Shorthand is like when people are applying for a role, we get them to write a shorthand story, right? And I remember yours as being one of the absolute standouts, just because it was a nice shorthand story, but like your work history was just really interesting from the point of view of like, working on these early game consoles and like trying to fit code in like really small amounts of memory and stuff like that. It was fascinating. Did you miss that world at all?
Like, not exactly. So like what was really good, that was like, I wrote a story about doing development on Game Boy Advance, and it was like 16 megahertz processor, like 8 kilobytes of RAM. I couldn't use the divide symbol for the first 5 years of my career because the CPU couldn't handle divides, like ridiculous stuff. And it was cool because it was really challenging. Everyone was on like a real level playing field, and it was like quite competitive that way. But like as kind of, the landscape in games kind of changed, it wasn't really the same vibe anymore there. And like now I just kind of find that same challenge elsewhere, but it's still like that same thing that I like, you know.
Yep. What, if anything, like frustrated you about your previous roles?
So with the last role I had doing R&D, the thing that kind of frustrated me there was that I did heaps of really cool work that just never saw the light of day. Like all the decisions that I'm making are like what would be the best for the user, like how would this be super intuitive, like what's going to make them really productive, and like a lot of the stuff I did never made it to users. So it was great to work on, but not very like, fulfilling. Like I didn't get what I wanted out
Right.
of it.
Yeah.
And then with games, it was where it got to in the end wasn't what I signed up for in the beginning. Like when I started, it was what sold really well and what made a lot of money was making something people really loved. And then by the end of it, it was more like how can we make people addicted so they'll spend more time, which generates more
Right.
money, So it was like a
Yeah. Yeah.
big
It's
shift.
like going from selling, gourmet food to selling crack or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Interesting. And so, what made you decide to join Shorthand?
Yeah. There's a few things. I think, like one, you had like a lot of customers, like a lot of users, and they were generating content non-stop all the time, right? So immediately fixed the problem I had with the last place when none of my work was seeing the light of day. And you're just constantly pushing updates and features and things all the time, like multiple releases a week. So that's exciting. And then like the other thing I really liked, and I remember this, was that I thought that the app was an interesting problem to solve. So like you got so many customers, there's this huge range of the type of users you have and what they're trying to solve, what they want, what they want this software to do. And then you got to try and find a way to make that do the right thing and be intuitive for all those different users. And I thought that was a cool challenge to have, you know.
It's definitely fun. So,
Yeah.
I think it's what gets a lot of us out of bed in the morning. I think at Shorthand is just that, like making the product better and the service, our service and support and all of that, just really great for customers who are trying to move the world forward through storytelling. I think that's really what kind of motivates us. So yeah, well, I'm super glad you decided to join us, and things are actually like really exciting at the moment in that AI space. And so yeah, it's sort of bringing it back to what you're doing now. Like in a nutshell, what are you working on?
So I guess my big thing is adding the AI kind of creative companion to the app. I think that's the term I came up with as well. So it was like, how do we get AI into the app and make it useful? What's it going to do? Like, how are people going to use it? And yeah, I remember like when I was doing like some early stuff, I had like a bunch of stuff like written down on the whiteboard here. Yeah, it was like companion, and like the goal was like supercharge users or something like that, right? I wanted it to be like a tool that people who were already really good with the app, it would just make them better. Like it wouldn't like get in the way. Like it would just make them be able to work like that little bit faster or get what they want done quicker. And then people who weren't very good at the app, they can like use it to discover the things that they didn't need to do. So like I think that was
Yep.
the word I came up with, you know.
Yeah, yeah, perfect description, I think. And one of the things I've noticed, like since we started building this thing, whenever that was, like 9 months ago or something,
Yeah.
like in that short time frame, the world's completely changed again.
Yeah.
And so, you know, what might have started out as a co-pilot, and I guess we still call it like a creative companion, right? There's there's actually quite an, I hate using wonkish terms, but like there's an agentic side to what Creative Companion can do now, right? Like it can, you can give it quite a complicated task and it'll plan that out, do all sorts of things, might take a little while, and then you come back to it and it's done. And be interested in your thoughts about like how you see that like in the future for shorthand and just in general, this whole new world we're kind of entering.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you're right. Like things are changing all the time. It's kind of crazy. I think like I'm like this is like slightly off thing, but I'm always surprised by the things that the AI can do. All the way through development, we'd constantly find things, and even now, like I'll just like I put something out there the other day, and I think someone was like, "Oh, could it do this?" I was like, I don't know. Like, let's try it, and then it will work like perfectly, like on its own, solving these things that like weren't even on my radar.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think it's just going to kind of keep heading in that direction more and
Mm.
more. Like I think the amount of stuff that the AI can do that we didn't necessarily plan for, we just kind of like give it like almost like less and less, and just like some real kind of like loose kind of guidelines. It seems we kind of get these great kind of results. Uh, I know recently I took the system prompt, the instructions for this thing down dramatically, and the results are that it works
Yeah.
faster and nicer.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy the way things are going. Yeah. So bring it back to you a little bit. So what do you think your kind of superpower is in your work? Like what do you see that other people might miss in your kind of line of work?
Yeah, well, I don't know if there's anything maybe necessarily that I see that others wouldn't. Maybe it's just the way I kind of go about doing it. So, like my approach is like, like if there's an idea, I have to prove it out. Like I have to throw a prototype or something together immediately. Almost always, any problem I'm trying to solve, I go like pretty wide, and I would generally have two or three opposing ideas that I have prototypes for each one of them that compete to become like the winner. So like yeah, that's something I'm doing like all the time with every little task that we're working on. It generally come down to kind of two approaches, and then there'll be like one winner. And I think I get really good results that way. Um, that's just the way I think I've always worked. It's just like
Mm.
works really well now in an AI assisted kind of space
Yeah.
where I usually run about three things at a time. And like whenever it's time to check the results of this one, I'm firing off something over here or
Mm.
waiting for this to build, something else is going there.
Yeah. Yeah. And that, one thing I'm loving about this whole new AI powered world of development is it actually lines up so beautifully or enables the way that we were always trying to work at
Yeah.
Shorthand in product, right? Like rapid iterations, try some things, get to code as fast as possible so that you've got something real you can play with. Non-engineers can like play with things, like the designers can sort of put something together now to like more easily showcase or present the idea that they're trying to communicate. And it's just really fascinating to see how the kind of the theory of how shorthand should work and the practice now are like much more aligned, right? So
Mm.
it's like, okay, guys, demo, like that's the output we want to see, like not, written documentation and ideas. It's like just demo, and make it better and make it better and make it better. And yeah, this world kind of just really aligns with that way of working, which has been really good. And small teams, really small teams. Yeah, it's funny how that's all just sort of come together now with some of the new tools and whatnot that we use. You also like coming into the team, like I think one of the questions during your interviews and well, everyone's interviews was like, what's your preferred way of working? Like, how do you like to work? And you were like, I like to iterate. I like to just iterate, iterate. And I was like, yes. And yeah, I think you've come into the team and just like you share one or two demo videos on our AI Slack channel every single day. So like here's how it's progressing. And then we can just like all jump on and look at it and give feedback and come together at our Monday demos and kind of we just move faster. It's really great. So, thank you. Thank you for bringing that or helping our culture to kind of meet the ideal. So, yeah, that's been awesome.
Yeah, yeah. I noticed the last Friday just gone. I always try and do something off kilter, like not quite on the books on like Friday afternoons. I
Hmm.
don't want to ship, and that's usually when I push those videos of me spending like 2 hours doing something silly. I noticed that like as the Fridays have progressed, like more and more people do that. Like last Friday, I think there were like 5 or 6 videos that went up on Friday
Yep.
afternoon of something wacky.
Yep.
Yeah.
You've definitely had a big like positive impact on yeah, getting the culture of the team to where we're trying to get it. So that's just been really awesome to see. What would you say you care more about than most people in your field?
Oh, I don't know. Care about like probably that like well one that like what I'm making is like intuitive. People are going to use it. Like they
Yep.
don't understand how to use it. That's what they want. And then trying to like put in a couple of like wow moments that grab kind of people's attention.
Yeah.
Something that like, oh, maybe they'll just try this and they'll see if it works, and then it does something that really
Right.
gets them.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I always kind of like that kind of stuff. Try and put my
Yep.
focus there.
Yep. No, that's come through. Yeah, making something people want and making it really nice for them. Sometimes not so much at shorthand, but other places like the engineers maybe are separated from the users and separated from that ownership of like making it nice for the user. It's like, oh, that's the design guys or the product guys are responsible for that.
Yeah,
Here, well, we don't have product. We just have designers and engineers, right? It's everyone's sort of responsible for like delivering really great product. And that's definitely something that I think we're getting better at as well. Maybe related, like, in your domain, it's like interpret that how you want, either, the domain that you're working in right now, AI, or your previous kind of work. What does great look like? Like, what does great mean to you?
man. Um, yeah, just like kind of like just creating that moment where someone like uses something and it does something like unexpected or exciting or just works the way that it is always something that I think is great. I guess like the opposite would be making anything that seems unnecessarily complicated, something with like a lot of buttons and dials and options and things for users, where I prefer to make something that's just like we've done all that work, we've already picked all like the best kind of stuff, and here's this package that we've given you, and it's like almost impossible to make something bad with it.
Yep.
Like
Yep.
we've already done all that work, so it's
Mm.
what you're going to make with this is going to be something really nice every time.
Mm. Yep. And I suppose because of the way you've always worked, and even more so now with AI, like you've got, three or four agents off trying different prototypes or whatever, you're probably throwing away more code than you keep, right?
Oh,
Like, so it's
right.
like, it's sort of, yeah, like choosing what to keep and what to throw away is, I think, when we're working the way we do, kind of an important part of that process and having good judgment around, oh yeah, like this one sort of meets the bar. Those ideas they were cool, but they didn't quite like, for whatever reason, didn't quite work out. Yeah.
And I think that's like a real skill as well, being able to spend a long time on something and then know it wasn't the right thing and then just delete it. And that's like, I've been doing that my entire career because of the way I work, and it's just like an important part of it.
Yeah. 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 We can become too attached to our code sometimes, right? It's like, spent so long writing this, and so I don't want to throw it away. But the right thing to do is often throw it away and start again.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, have you noticed anywhere recently where we've kind of like leveled up, like where we've sort of raised the bar on our product quality, our process, anything like that?
I mean, yeah, I mean, it's on the product, there's always like amazing stuff coming out all the time. I think, yeah, like with our processes as well, with the shift to kind of the AI side of things, like everyone is probably working a lot faster than they were, getting stuff out there quicker, trying out different ideas more. I think the pace of everything's just increased. And like now, like the bottleneck isn't so much like you don't have enough staff to make all this, amazing work. It's reviewing all that work to get it
Yeah,
for
yeah,
production ready, because like
yeah.
it's
Well,
like smashing through tasks.
that's interesting. Like Claude just released something, right, to do code reviews now, where like apparently it does a super good job of that. One thing that just popped to mind then too was that example that Nathan Hode gave last week or early this week, where we'd been making some changes to lazy loading in shorthand stories, right? And we thought we'd found all the places that we needed to improve or change. And then I've forgotten what tool he was using, whether it was Codex or what, but it found a whole bunch of other places where it's like, no, you could be optimizing this a lot more as well. So yeah, those tools have definitely come in handy. I didn't mean to make this whole chat about AI, but like honestly, in this space, in engineering development, really has like it just looks completely different now, like the way we work
Yeah, it's
than
hard not
than
to mention.
before. Yeah, cool. So thinking about team and stuff now, like, and with that view of like aiming for quality and making things great, like can you think about any times where you've had like a real disagreement with someone in the team, and like how do those disagreements get resolved in our engineering team at Shorthand? Engineering and design, because
Yeah,
often like the big questions and problems are often about the UX and whatnot.
yeah, yeah, and there's definitely going to be disagreements about things, especially like with the best way to do UI UX stuff. There's there's such like a finite amount of space that we've got to kind of do these things. Like trying to work out the best way to do it's always tough. And like I think everyone's pretty good now at proving out what they're saying. Either like just with like I know some of the designers do like those really nice like animated kind of storybooks of them like pretending to click on things and things open, explaining it all out. Or someone will just throw like a prototype together to kind of
Mm.
flesh out their idea. But yeah, like everyone's pretty much come around to it's more than just like a conversation now. You gotta like I would have had disagreements on a bunch of that stuff, but I don't know if there's any like one particular one that kind of stands out. Probably just like with the AI work, like when we first started it, I think it was the entire AI was going to live in the comments section.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
good example.
yeah,
Yeah,
and it so quickly outgrew that, but it was like a really hard decision to make if that was the right use of time was to like build it out into its own separate AI or if it was fine like where it was. So yeah, like just trying to like test out both the ideas, get everyone on board with it, get everyone to play with it for a while and see
yeah,
what actually makes sense. And I think as
yeah,
once people got in front of it and used it, it pretty quickly made sense. It had to be its own thing.
yeah,
Which
yeah. I think. Yeah, like because of the frequency of the back and forth that you have with the AI, it is different to actually working with a human collaborator in the tool. Like I think the original version was, oh, well, this AI should just be like a collaborator, like any of your other users, like you go and ask the designer to, oh, can you like change the way this looks or whatever, right?
Mm.
So if you're working with a human, it would be in the comments. So it's like, oh, well, the AI should be there too, because they're just another colleague in that sense. The way that you interact with this thing is very different
Yeah.
to a human. And so yeah, like I think that makes sense. I think it was my dodgy idea to put it in the comments. And you and Scott probably had the idea of like, well, no, this needs to be a separate thing. And I think that's turned out to be the right call. I think there's probably a few additional evolutions that we've got to make on this, the way everything's going. But yeah, that's a really good example. What do you think? So this is like a trade-offs question. Like, what are we sacrificing right now? Like, in order to do what we do, what are we not doing? Like,
Okay.
we talk a lot about craft.
Yeah.
I'm putting an example out there, but like craft, and there's kind of like there's speed and there's quality and there's cost. It's usually you've got speed, quality, cost, choose two.
Mm. Yeah, true.
I'm always like, well, no, choose three. But usually there is some kind of like sacrifice that we've got to make to kind of like hit one or the other, right?
True. That's good because I was gonna say like the like the creative companion, like the start from prompt stuff is like a good one for that. So I know with like so when you're asking it to just make you like an entire story from nothing, like a totally blank slate, for me like speed there was the most important thing because the way I saw it is what you're generating is like an incredible starting point for you to make a story. So what you want something really fast that's pretty good. If it was like, I'll take a really long time to make you something excellent that then you're going to change anyway, it didn't really seem to line up with why they wanted to use it,
Right.
you know?
Yep. Yep.
And I think some of the rest of the AI is like that as well, where the way like I kind of envision people using it, or a lot of our users, is they're already pretty good at the app. And their reason for using the AI is because there's a tedious task that they don't want to do that's going to take them some time. All of those are like speed ones, right? So it's like, find me some images that suit this story.
Yep. Yep.
Again, like that was a really good one. We put like that little visual image selector in the AI and it saves you like 6 clicks or something. Or if it's just there's something that you want to do, but you're not quite sure how to do it. There's one I had where I was working on a chart section and there was a label on the right. And I kind of quickly was like looking through the UI trying to work out how to remove it. And then I just found, oh, what am I doing?
Mm.
It's just like the AI, like remove the label on the right.
Yeah.
Like, why waste my time?
And charts and AI, like that is one thing that the AI is massively sped up. Like rearranging the columns on a chart, or yeah, that's or changing the chart type. Like it's made that whole thing a lot faster. I was talking to a customer the other day, AAA Northeast, so what is it, the Automobile Association, and they use the AI, which was like, oh, that's really cool. And so they had a whole bunch of like call to actions, and they were all the wrong color and the wrong font, and they just needed to do it in one hit. And so the designer, who was fairly new to shorthand, was asking their manager, who was the one I was speaking to, like, how do I do this quickly? And he's going, oh, just use the AI. And they did it, and bingo.
Yeah.
And so now they haven't, they just they haven't looked back. And so yeah, that was a really good kind of speed example, right? Where It's just this mundane thing that you need to do that does, you already know what you want it to look like and whatever. So you just need a fast way to do it.
Yeah.
And the AI kind of fills that gap there. What have we shipped that wasn't good enough?
I mean, the AI, I'm always changing it. It's a never-ending one.
Yeah, it's a never-ending one. I think, yeah, if anything, probably waited a little too long to ship the first version of that.
Yeah, that's a tough decision to make of when that was ready to go. Yeah, I'm trying to think of something that's
Or is there anything that you would like redo or that you did redo after having shipped it? Like originally we had one huge big system prompt, right?
yeah, true.
Like now I think my understanding is we're doing that a little different or very different.
Yeah, that was a really big change. So when we first launched the AI, we had one giant prompt that was kind of steering the direction that we wanted to go. And, the more we kind of used it, the more little things we found that we kind of wished it did differently. And the prompt grew and grew and grew and grew. And then we kind of kept trying to keep it kind of going without causing other problems. And then, like, the big change we made recently, like just a few weeks ago, really, was we took the size of it down, I don't know, less than a tenth of the size it is now, and moved a whole bunch of those things into like tiny little skills that it would learn
Right.
when it needs to. And it makes like such a difference. It's so much sharper now because of it. All the little tests that I kind of have that I run through it feel so much more thought out. Like it knows what it's doing so much better now. So instead of being like having all this information in its head about how to do charts, and all I'm doing at the moment is like editing an image or like changing the borders on an image or something, all that information's out of its head and it can kind of just concentrate on the thing that it's doing right now. And it's just made it like fast and focused. And yeah, it's made like a big difference. And then like moving all of that stuff into skills, we can give those tasks the attention that it needs. The biggest one so far that I've noticed is with chart sections. So like when the AI would look at what a chart section was, it was like multiple frames and each one of them has charts with chart data and colors in it. And if I asked it to make me a chart section about something, it would almost be like every frame was the same chart over and over again. And it's like, yeah, I've made these three different pages, or this one section with three different frames of like the same chart over and over. And it wasn't until I made a skill and was like, the idea is you're like animating the data between frames to help the user better understand like the story of the data. And it was something like that. That was the prompt I gave it. And it's just like this click, and then it would like introduce data in between the frames, and
Mm-hmm.
things would like animate up, and it would tell this story. And that's something that we couldn't have done without the skill system. That had to be like a very chart specific
Yeah.
kind of prompt.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's also a really good example of like understanding what the purpose of storytelling is and then bringing that back into the engineering. Like you couldn't have given it that prompt, which is exactly the right prompt, like without like understanding what the user's trying to do in that and like what the chart section is supposed to do and how the animations kind of like let the story unfold kind of thing, right? And so yeah, you've sort of explained to the AI that kind of user intent in making that work. Yeah. Yeah. Awesome example. Did you want to show us anything that you've been working on?
Let me try. Yeah, I mean, there's always heaps of things going in, and there's always really exciting stuff that I want to show. I thought something that would be kind of good to show was the document support that we're adding,
Oh yeah, cool.
because like it seems simple, but it's like super powerful. Like what you can actually do with it. Yeah, so the thing that I wanted to show was the addition of being able to attach things to the chat. So previously you can just talk. If you wanted it to like take a whole bunch of text and things that you've written, you will kind of just copy and pasting it into the chat box. But now, like the ability to like attach files, it's like more of like an intent of what you want it to do. So when it picks up that you've attached a file, if it's like a text file, it will go like, oh, like I see you've attached a text file. It's already read it. It knows what it's about. It will say something like, do you want to use this as reference or verbatim? Like, is this, already done? You're using this word for word, or is this like reference material to build upon? And that I think is going to be like a pretty big addition to the AI. And then all the things we did to try and get it to work the way that we wanted it to work was like quite interesting. So like you can attach a bunch of images, video, PDF, text, CSV files was really cool because as soon as you drop one in, it's like, do you want this to be like a chart or a table? Like it's kind
Or
of
just a reference set to write something based on the data. Yeah.
exactly, yeah. So it's like kind of picks up on like, more of the intent of what you're trying to do, which is really nice. When you do put in something that's verbatim now, it's blindingly fast because it's just putting the text in as you dropped it in. It's splitting it into sections and things like that, but it's still word
It
for
doesn't have to
word.
generate the text. So
Doesn't,
it's
yeah.
just, yeah.
So, and if you drop in images along with that at the same time, then that's like basically a whole story ready to go in seconds.
So all it's doing in that case is figuring out the layout then.
Yeah, there's a
Yeah,
few
cool.
tiny things where it's like it will maybe add headings if you didn't have headings in there, but otherwise nothing. It doesn't touch
Yeah,
the text at all.
yeah, yeah. Interesting.
And then for the reference material side of it, it was really, I made it like a goal. I don't know if it was needed or not, but I really wanted it to follow the reference material 100% without going off script in case something's changed in the future. We don't want the AI to be filling it with its trained knowledge from now.
Right,
So when I give it reference material, it must stay on point. It doesn't like introduce data that it thinks is important, things like that.
right. Yeah,
So I had like this test, I constantly ran through it, which was the children's explainer about the Scottish wombats, and where every single fact about wombats had been changed to be incorrect. Like they
right,
lived in Scotland, they were carnivores, they were scaly reptiles, and like constantly trying the AI again and again and again to make sure it would stick to that information and not be like the reference material says this, but we know
right.
the truth is that. Because like I feel like it is important. Someone could have been making a story that challenges what it was trained on, and I wanted it to stick to the material. So making it so it can make a full story and expand upon that without filling it full of its current knowledge was like a cool one.
Yeah. No, awesome. Awesome. All right. Well, maybe as a last question, what are you looking most forward to over the next year?
With the work I'm doing at the moment, there's heaps of really cool things that I'm excited to get to, like tasks with the AI that are the most exciting kind of thing. The big one is the getting it to visually understand stories better. So being able to like look at exactly what you can see on the screen at the moment, really like visually understand that and make design decisions based on the visuals is a huge one. And then using that same power to like look at other stories that you've done. I think those are going to be big additions to the AI and also really exciting problems to work on. So those are the big ones that I'm hanging out for.
Yeah, it reminds me of the really cool demo you gave, I think last week, around like here's a title section. You can't read the text on it because the text is the same color as the image behind it.
Yep.
The background's a bit like not focused properly. And your demo was, yeah, like basically take a screenshot of that, give me the feed, like first of all, understand what's in the image,
Mm.
and then tell me how I can improve it. Not just tell me, but like actually go and fix it.
Yeah.
That was an amazing, amazing demo because like it 100% improved the story at a visual level. And so seeing that work was kind of like, whoa.
Yeah, and more
Yeah.
than I expected too. Like I had to
Yeah.
quickly Control Z, Control Shift Z. Is like, what has it done? Like, what's happened here? It's like changed focal points and images, and it's like added like overlay fades and moved
Yeah.
things, and
Yeah. I think I put a zoom effect on it so that you had the nice, yeah, it's just easier to read.
yeah, and the reasoning behind everything that it did too was like so solid. Yeah, it is. That's all the super exciting stuff that's kind of coming, and it's just working out how to apply that to the whole
Yeah.
story.
Yeah. No, it's really great seeing what you and the team are doing there. I think we've got like we're building a really, really like solid team to work on that stuff. So yeah, hugely, hugely excited about all of that. So yeah, thanks a lot, Baz. That was a really great chat. And yeah, it's exciting working with you on this stuff. And thanks a lot for your time.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. That was great.
Cheers. Okay, over and out. Ciao for now.